Right. Second video, configured, setting at threshold, ready to taxi into the runway and get ready for our departure. Flight plan is in as it was in the first video. You'll see if you look at the series, this will be episode number 2 of this series. You'll look for episode 1 and you'll see it. I'm going to explain the throttle quadrant a little bit and just go over that just in a little detail. Explain some of the things that I've discovered. So, from what I understand, A/THR is the auto throttle. If you want to use the auto throttle not using the FMS or the flight management system, put the throttle in here. Use the auto throttle as you would normally use it, and it's supposed to work. I haven't done it, but I suspect it works and works fine. We're going to use CL mode, which is what I understand is climb out. We're going to go to that. We're going to go to flex when we're at cruise, and we're going to use our cruise. As I showed and indicated before, our cruise will be set at 290 knots, so we should take off, and the flight management system should take us along at 290 knots to our destination. Um, there is, and I should show that right now. So as you push the throttles up, you see the throttle come up into that little spot. There is a detent and it snaps to. So I pull up just ahead and pull it back, and it snaps in. Um, I don't know if there's a better way to do it, but that's just the way I'm doing it. The binging sound is that warning. This is how you clear those warnings off. So I'm going to taxi up to the threshold, or taxi up to the runway, park, get ready, hit everything that we need. We're going to arm our speed our speed brakes. Oops, arm our speed brakes. We're going to have our flaps to one, position number 1. We're going to release our park brakes, and we're going to taxi up and get ready for departure. And here we go. I've got my initial altitude set to climb out to 10,000. I am heading for 30,000. I will hit that transition and climb out to 30,000. My vertical speed is set. I have an autopilot panel, so my vertical speed is set to 1,500 feet per minute. You can do that in the aircraft or using an autopilot panel. I will get to this point here and I will show you how that works. Um, so we'll stop. Your vertical speed is there. You can engage your vertical speed and then dial on your 1500 if you like. As I say, I have an autopilot panel which dials it in. These indicators these little lights are indicating that the plane is in managed mode, meaning the flight management system, the way I understand it, is managing our flight. Indicated line here is that's where we should be flying. I will turn that to nav. I will dial that back out just a bit. There. There. So you can see our first transitions right there. So we are ready to go. I'm going to look down, put it into climb mode or CL mode, look back up, release the park brake or release the toe brakes, and down the runway we'll go, rotating at. We'll see down here there'll be a little green dot. Somewhere's around 120. I forget exactly what it is, 122 or something like that. You'll see it. Oh, there it is, 122. You'll see a little green line in there. When I hit that, I'm going to rotate and pull gently back on the yoke. It's not required to hammer it back. So let's set this up. Boom, see it snapped in. And we're going to release, and around the runway we go, using a little bit of rudder to keep ourselves centered. So speed's alive. You can see the indicated speed is coming up. And I'm a little off center because I'm doing all kinds of other things which I shouldn't be doing. But there you see the indicator there for rotate, so we will rotate. A little shaky, but in the air nevertheless. I've got a good positive climb as indicated. Um, Gear is up. reduce my climb out so I can gain a little bit more speed. There she goes. Flaps are up. Autopilot's engaged. Vertical speed is turned on. It should level off at around 0, and now it should start to climb and get up to the speed we want. You can see in there, I should zoom in on that a little bit. It is trying to head for these green lines, and that's going to try to follow that green line. You'll see that my climb rate speed is going to climb up, should climb up to 1500 and level off in around that 1500 mark, because that's what it's set for. I'm going to climb out to 10,000, and it will level off at 10,000. It will only climb to my 30,000 if I turn this up to 30,000, which I will. So it is really that simple. We are ticking along. Let's do a bit of an outside view. And, oh, my gear is not up. Sorry. There, my gear is up. My spoilers were... I got the wrong spoiler, wrong button on the spoilers. That's just an error, that wasn't intended. Pressed the wrong button. So my gear is going up, and as we set our climb rate, we actually set our climb rate to climb out at, I believe it was 175, our initial climb out. Now we're going to get into that 250 range is what we're supposed to be doing. Holding our 250 right there, thereabouts. And let's, I may have said that incorrectly. Let me get back in the aircraft and look at that. Yes, there's our 250 range. And we're doing all of this in a managed climb. At 250. If I remember correctly, well, let's go back into our autopilot panel here. Our FMS, to our performance page, climb out. See, set for 250. That is our climb. That's what the aircraft wants to climb out at. And you see, that is what we're climbing out. That little purple triangle, that's the indicator that says that it wants to climb out at 250, because that's the managed climb out. When we get to the Cruze, managed that is at 250, but I'm going to tell it to go to 290, and you're going to see once we hit our Cruze altitude, it will go to 290. Now, assuming I've done it right. So it is as easy as it is to get this aircraft to take off, configure the flight plan, get it set up, get it airborne, and get it to do something that you would anticipate it should do the way it should do it. I'm 5,800 feet, near 6,000 feet, still climbing. I'm still climbing at 1,500. I could turn that up, and let me just show you. I will turn it up on my autopilot panel, but it will be effectively turning it there. I'll see my climb rate will still climb. My speed, I've got it set at 2,000 feet per minute, my climb rate. And you see there it's hitting 2,000, but it's going to hold 250. It's going to try to hold 250. We can look at the engines, and we can see what they're doing, running at about 68%. I could be wrong about that. Anyways, yeah, no, sorry, 89% is the climb, which is this right here, I think. Maybe some average. I shouldn't say that because I don't know. Anyways, so I like to climb. We'll leave our climb at 2,000. No harm in that. So let's have a look at what that looks like. Oh, there's our climb. So you can see that the A320 Neo, which is the default aircraft, acts and behaves as it should. I'm sure there are some bugs and glitches. I think most of it is user-based. Users don't quite understand it. But if you're setting it up the way I set it up, you should anticipate the aircraft to do what it is doing. Keep in mind, if you have an autopilot panel like I have, I think you have to utilize it or unplug it before you launch, and then you can use the aircraft in control aircraft. So I'm getting in there. I want to catch it. Landing lights off. We're at 10,000. I probably should have had taxi off a long time ago. Again, this isn't about how to do it. You see it's leveling off at 10,000 because that's what I've told it to do. The managed mode is saying do it at 10,000, level it off. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to climb itself to 10,000, level off, and off we are. Our next leg, as indicated right here, is 13 nautical miles to our next point. And you can see it is now leveled off, and off it goes. It's trying to get to that indicated altitude of 10,000. And we're at 10,000. So it's going to level off now, as the indicated. Now I'm going to turn that up because our intentions are to climb to 30,000. So here we go, up to 30,000. You see me dialing it up. I'm gonna climb out at 2,000 as well again. So it's going to pitch up, and it's going to take off and start to climb. Again, you see that it's behaving as, at least as I expect it to, and it's behaving in a controlled manner. I mean, this may not be the right way to do it, but it's behaving in a controlled manner because the flight management system is A, has been configured, and B, it's being allowed to control the aircraft as it was intended to control. We can disable that. I'm not going to, because I don't have enough experience when you disable it. Can you utilize your own settings instead of the flight management system and how that interacts and how that works? I don't know enough about it, but if you wanted to disable it, you could right there. You see the engage manage speed mode, or you can disengage the manage speed mode. And those little dots would disappear as you did that. I won't do that, of course. As I said, we are continuing to follow the line. Let me just scroll in just a tad tighter on that, so it there. So we are heading for we're just transitioning through DET. Yep, DET. And our next transition is going to ITPIV, which is indicated up here, which is, near as I can understand, 16 nautical miles to that intersection. Our next intersection or transition or whatever you want to call it will be SASKI, or SASKI is what I call it. And we'll continue to climb. We're going to scroll this out, and we're going to look in there. Well, I better not say that. I'll leave that for another video, because I suspect this will take a long time to get through, fairly long. You notice how it again is still holding your 290. It's climbed up to the 290. Hits the initial altitude of 10,000 because that was the transition as indicated. Hang on, let me just show you here. Back here. No, that's not it. Is it here? No. Oh, that's not it. Performance. Next phase. Back up. No, back up. Well, I don't know where that is, but there was a point where I told it that it was going to climb at a managed climb at 250, but when it hit the transition, or when it hit that 10,000, that was the rate that I set it at. And then we started to climb again. It was then going to adhere to the cruise speed, which is 290. You can see that's what it's actually done. It's gone to 290 knots because that's what I told it to do. So it is, that's what its intent. I could go there and change that speed. I don't want to. I'm going to leave it at the 290 because I think that's what we should be running at. I want to get through the flight a little quicker instead of this save fuel mode, because I think that's what the yes, the cost index is to save fuel, make it a more cost-effective flight. Instead of get there fast, do it cost-effective. So we are climbing. Let's take a peek outside, and we're climbing at a fairly aggressive climb speed. And through the clouds we get. Engine 1 anti-ice is on. It's detected ice. Let's look up here and see if we can't. Air condition, fire, anti-ice right here. Turn on wing anti-ice. Turn on. I think that's all we need. Heading for Saskai, which is 40 nautical miles. I am here. About 100, probably. Some is around Pro. Gives me 50. Yeah, probably somewhere around there. My expectation is somewhere around Napro is where I'm probably going to start descending. We're getting closer and closer to our confirmed altitude, or confirmed cruise altitude, 30,000. See us ticking away here. Just look out the windscreen. There. So I will let the video play, and I will likely edit out the in-between stuff, because I suspect it will take it's going to take quite a while to get to where we'll begin our descent and approach and all that wonderful stuff. So our next thing will be we're coming to our, just so you see here, we're coming to our assigned altitude. This is going to start to come down. It is then going to start to level off and try to hold 30,000 thereabouts approximately. Our next one will be, as I said, probably somewhere around Napro is where we're going to begin our descent. We'll do a gradual, slow descent down. Um, I'm anticipating something in around a 1,000 feet per minute around that area. I may expedite that and so forth. I have a hard time determining, there is a measurement system that says, well, if you're this high, your runway elevation is that high, you're at this distance and you want to begin your descent, you will descend at a given rate of descent, or whether it's 1,000, 1,200, 800, whatever that is. And I once was told there was a calculation or formula for that. I've forgotten where that is, and so I don't know. But we'll use a descent rate from somewhere on NAPRO. We think it's about 110 miles. I might go past NAPRO a little bit. I might get some 10 miles or so into that flight before I begin my descent down. And I will pick up the video there, and we'll continue to talk about how the approach, the landing, and all that is. I will say that my landing may not be stellar. I don't fly the A320 a lot. This video isn't for that. This video is actually intended to show how to set up the FMS, how the aircraft can function and work and function in a controlled manner that you would expect it to work. And so far, we've done the configuration, we've done the start, and it started fine. We've done the FMS setup. It's put all the information in there that's necessary. There's other information you could put in there. I didn't do it because I don't know how, and it's not necessary, as you can see. We've taken off, we've departed, we've taken off, and we've climbed out. We've hit our level flight of 30,000 feet. It's leveled off, and it's going to maintain that. We've picked a given cruise speed. We've picked the given departure speed or climb out speed. It's adhered to those rules. It's adhered to the 290 knots. Once reached 30,000 feet, it's adhered to that as well. And we are zipping along, flying as it's supposed to be, not doing anything so far, not doing anything unusual. There was initially, when the A320 first came out, there was a wobbly, turn that down just a bit so we don't get as much of the ambient sound. There was a bit of a porpoising effect when it first came out. They've corrected that. It doesn't porpoise anywhere near like it used to. It still does it periodically from time to time. But it's a new sim, and there is some anomalies about it. The 737 MAX, which is in real world, has been grounded because of an anomaly. So why should we expect the simulator not to have some anomalies? The fortunate news about this is if it does go awry, well, somebody's pride gets hurt a little bit, but that's about it. Anyways, enough of me rambling on. So back in the cockpit, I'm going to let it carry on its flight. I'm going to pause the audio, or stop the audio, and I'm going to let it continue, because I will then edit the video and probably split this one up into two videos, so you'll be able to see which the departure looks like, what the level flight looks like, what the cruise looks like in part, and then what the cruise looks like again in part, and what the descent begins to look like, and how the aircraft should manage all of that, and do everything that it's supposed to do. The descent and arrival is much more so like you would anticipate in, say, FSX or X-Plane, and how it functions and looks and works. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Right. That's it. I will stop rambling on and let it finish, and we'll pick it up again once we get ready to descend.